They called the planet Vharoxa a death world of the second order. Crushing gravity, air so thick it felt like oil in the lungs, and native creatures whose exoskeletons could withstand artillery impact. But none of those were the reason Private Jonas Hale volunteered to step onto its molten red soil that morning. No, the reason was simple. The humans had broken their promise. 50 years ago, the Terran Coalition swore never again to interfere with Vharoxan lands. Yet after discovering trace elements of kronite under the polar dunes, humans returned, quietly, forcefully, drilling without permission. When the Vharoxans discovered it, war almost erupted. Only a negotiated exchange prevented bloodshed. A single human envoy would face the queen herself to plead the intentions of the species. If the envoy survived her presence, negotiations could begin. The problem was that no human ever survived her presence. Records said Queen Zalara of the Shattered Crown exuded an energy field lethal to most carbon-based nervous systems. Her skin itself overloaded the senses, burning through nerve channels in seconds. Humans fainted, seized, or died when they came within arm's reach. So when Jonas volunteered, his commander stared at him like he'd lost reason. "You know the odds," Commander Reddick whispered in the dim briefing hall. "You won't even make it close enough to bow." Jonas slipped on his reinforced breathing rig, the ceramic plates clinking over his chest. "I'm not here to bow," he replied. "I'm here because we broke our word. Someone has to face her, honestly." Reddick exhaled, half pity, half respect. "May the stars guide you, Hale." Beginning, the Queen's chamber. The approach to the throne room was a labyrinth of iridescent bone pillars and spore-lit moss that pulsed with eerie bioluminescence. Jonas' boots sank into the spongy green tiles that released a fragrant vapor, like burning cedar and the faint sweetness of citrus. Every breath tasted alive. At the end of the corridor, two towering guards, their jointed limbs gleaming obsidian, pounded their spears. The sound reverberated like thunder, making Jonas' ears ring. "The Queen awaits. Step with courage, human," one chittered. The doors parted, and Jonas understood why others had failed. The chamber radiated heat, light, and overwhelming presence, as though a star burned at its center. The air trembled with raw energy, humming through his bones. Atop a dais of shimmering black scales sat Queen Zalara, her silhouette both terrifying and beautiful, for arms folded in contemplation, silver carapace etched with violet runes, and hair like strands of molten sapphire cascading down her shoulders. Her eyes, deep violet pools, glowed with an old, patient fury. Jonas' legs wobbled, but he steadied himself. "So," she said, her voice layered like harmonics from another dimension, "another human steps forward to lie to me." Jonas forced himself to meet her gaze. "I came to tell the truth." Her mandible-like cheek plates shifted, amusement or annoyance, he couldn't tell. "You cannot endure me, human. My touch destroys your kind. Your nervous systems collapse. Your hearts falter. Your minds shatter." Her lowest voice layer darkened. "Humans are too fragile for honesty." Jonas exhaled carefully. "Fragility doesn't decide truth. Actions do." For the first time, Zalara leaned forward. The heat doubled. Jonas' suit sensors flashed warnings as if he stood inches from volcanic vents. His pulse quickened. His vision flickered. yet he held his ground. Her 4 arms lowered from the throne simultaneously, graceful, predatory. "Humans can endure my touch," she repeated, softly, dangerously. "Do you still claim to step closer?" Jonas swallowed the rising fear, tasting metal. "Yes." And he took a step. Middle, the first touch. The room gasped. Guards shifted their stances. Attendants recoiled. The air itself hissed as though protesting. Zalara's eyes widened imperceptibly. Jonas' vision blurred at the edges. Colors streaked like wet paint. His heart hammered, as if trying to flee his chest. But he didn't fall. "A curious anomaly," Zalara murmured. "Most faint before the first meter." Jonas took another step. Pain speared behind his eyes, pressure, heat, vibration, like voices whispering in frequencies his mind couldn't decode. But he clenched his fists and grounded himself. "I'm not most humans." Her silver fingers drummed once against her throne's armrest. "Why risk yourself? Why die for promises already broken?" Jonas steadied his breathing. "Because we shouldn't have broken them. War starts when someone refuses to face responsibility. I'm tired of humans acting like consequences belong to someone else." Zalara rose. The entire chamber bowed instantly, except Jonas, who staggered but remained upright. Her steps were silent, each glimmer of her scales reflecting a distant nebula. She approached until they were only a single arm's length apart. And then, she lifted her primary right hand and pressed one finger to the exposed skin at the base of his neck. Jonas braced for death. Instead, sensation flooded him. Cold and hot simultaneously, electric currents racing down his spine, memories flashing like constellations, childhood sunsets on Earth, his father's voice reciting stories of honor, hands holding his as he took his first steps. The universe compressed to a single point, her touch, and expanded again, tearing through every barrier in his mind. He screamed, not from pain, but from overwhelming clarity. And yet, he did not collapse. When she withdrew her finger, the chamber echoed with stunned silence. Zalara's eyes narrowed, studying him like a mystery unsolved. "You endure." Jonas was drenched in sweat, gasping, legs trembling but alive. "I told you," he panted. "I came for honesty, not survival." The revelation. "For a human to withstand me," she whispered, "means your spirit burns with something stronger than fear." Jonas steadied himself. "I'm not unique. Others could if given the chance. If we learn from each other instead of stealing from each other." She paced around him, her voice shifting to a low thrumming resonance that vibrated the bones. "My people believe your kind cares only for conquest. You tear worlds apart for resources. You take what is not yours." Jonas didn't deny it. "We've made mistakes. Too many. But some of us are trying to change the story." "Why you?" she asked. Jonas' voice cracked, not from pain, but from buried memory. "My brother died on a colony world humans stripped bare. The air turned toxic after extraction collapsed the ecosystem. We left, Queen. We left and never looked back. I don't want that to happen again." Silence held between them, heavy, ancient, sorrowful. Then Zalara extended her hand once more, open, not threatening. "Touch me," she commanded. Let us see if your endurance is resolve or mere luck. Jonas hesitated only a heartbeat. Then he raised his shaking hand and placed it against her palm. This time, the rush of energy was different, not violent, but resonant. Memories, emotions, fragments of both lives braided together. Her ascension to the throne amid civil war, her vow to protect her dying world, the crushing weight of leadership, and Jonas' longing for redemption. She inhaled sharply, his memories spilling into hers. "You carry grief," she murmured. "So do you," he replied. And something shifted. A fracture healed, a bridge formed, a possibility awakened, ending a new agreement. When their hands separated, the chamber felt cooler, calmer, as if the world itself had exhaled. Queen Zalara returned to her throne, but not with detachment. She sat as though her posture carried new weight and new hope. "Hail of Terra," she said, her voice steady. "I accept negotiations, but only through you. You will remain on Vharoxa as our human envoy." Jonas blinked in disbelief. "You trust me?" "No," she replied, "but I trust what you endure." She leaned forward, her forearms crossed in solemn authority. "If your people betray us again, remember this moment, for it will be the last time humanity withstands my touch." Jonas bowed, not out of submission, but respect. "I won't let us fail again." As he turned to leave, her voice followed, softer, nearly imperceptible. "You stepped closer when others fled. Perhaps one day your kind and mine may stand side by side, without fear." Jonas paused. "I hope so, Queen Zalara." Outside, the Vharoxan winds howled like ancient titans, but Jonas breathed easier. The gravity still pressed on him. The air still tasted of cedar and lightning, but he felt lighter than he had in years. Because for the first time, a human promise had been made face to face, not behind walls or across battlefields. And this time, they would honor it.